I've been digging through a ton of upcoming unusual dark and horror games, and this 10 really stood out. Some have twisted mechanics and clever gameplay, others lean into eerie atmosphere with striking art direction and visuals. A few stand out for their sharp writing and intriguing plots, and some manage to deliver all of the above. And hit that like and subscribe buttons if you're into dark and unusual games. More are on the way. Let's dive in. Who's at the Door is a psychological horror game that traps you in a small apartment spiraling into psychosis with only 8 days left to get better. Each day, bizarre, distorted strangers knock on your door to deliver pills, but you can't be sure they're real. You need to inspect your surroundings for hallucinations and decide open the door or take your meds. Get it wrong and you're hit with a jump scare, then sent back to day 1. It's essentially an anomaly detection game similar to Exit 8. The story builds slowly into an intriguing, horrific mystery with multiple endings and secrets to uncover. The standout part is visuals with surreal and deeply unsettling strangers, hallucinations and atmosphere of isolation. Definitely worth a look if you're into unsettling short-form horror. Here, the Timeloop is a survival horror game set in a decaying hospital and built around a chilling story with brutal time loop mechanics. You play as a badly wounded Sheriff James Cooper with only 15 minutes to live and complete a chapter, unless you find healing items to buy more time. Every hit from monsters cuts into that same timer, making survival a constant race against the clock. Run out of time and the loop resets. Most progress is lost, but the Sheriff remembers previous loop along with all the info like notes and codes. The time loop is fully integrated into the story and gameplay, letting you open new paths with each cycle. That said, Prologue features plenty of healing items, so survival was guaranteed most of the time. Combat is old school and pretty straightforward but fun. Enemies soak bullets and you can pop off their heads with a good neck shot. Most shamble like classic Resident Evil zombies, but one creepshow charged on all fours, a bear trap clamped to its face and chains rattling behind. The atmosphere drips with dread. You're stuck in an abandoned hospital, trapped by a cultist mob outside. It's a setup straight out of the Void movie. The story is genuinely intriguing, wrapped in occult rituals, serial murders and demons wearing human skin. Here, the time loop brings an interesting twist on the classic genre and stands out as one of the most promising survival horrors in development. The Drifter is dark, paranoia-fueled pulp thriller point-and-click adventure from the creators of Peridium and Crawl. You play as Mick Carter, a drifter heading home for a funeral, riding a boxcar with a sketchy stranger who gets brutally murdered right in front of him. After narrowly escaping death, Mick sees a young journalist abducted by masked high-tech killers, only to be knocked out and dumped into a river full of corpses. But just after the water fills his lungs and he dies, he wakes up back in his body, seconds before he drowns again. The demo is sharp and stylish with fantastic pixel art, great voice acting and grounded puzzles that flow naturally with an intriguing story hinting at dark conspiracies or maybe even something supernatural. The Drifter is almost here and looks like it will be an incredible game. PIGFACE is a grimy, ultra-violent first-person shooter where you're blackmailed into carrying out brutal contract killings with a bomb drilled into your skull. The demo includes one replayable contract with a solid selection of purchasable guns, unpredictable AI and no hand-holding. You can go tactical, sneak and snipe or just blast through with sheer violence. Combat is fast, brutal and satisfying. Each weapon feels distinct and enemies react dynamically. Some panic, others try to flank you or charge blindly, some even cover in corners. There is also no crosshair, which makes every shot feel riskier and every kill earned. It's still early and game clearly needs a lot of polish, but the foundation is bloody solid. I Nima is a psychological horror visual novel built around unusual experimental mechanics. You wake up tied to a chair in a basement with no memory of who you are. A woman claiming to be your mother starts interrogating you, and your only goal is to prove you're really Nima. The main and most intriguing mechanic is combining thoughts inside your head. You start with an empty mind, but as you explore, you collect words tied to nearby objects, then fuse them to trigger memories and unlock new meanings. Some combinations reveal deeper truths or disturbing, uncanny contradictions. Once formed, you can use these concepts in dialogue to convince your mother who you are. Although the demo is quite short if you rush your way through, but I spent a lot of time experimenting with these word combinations to uncover unsettling truth. And the sheer number of possible pairings is impressive. The story stands extremely dark and disturbing, but I won't spoil it for you. Definitely one to watch if you're into slow-burning psychological horror. Below Rusted Gods is a narrative-driven experimental horror game set in 1978. You guide a descent team into a cursed borehole using terminals, radios, and analog instruments. Communication grows sporadic, strange anomalies appear, and deeper they go, the worse it gets. It's tense, eerie, and full of cosmic dread with a suffocating atmosphere, haunting sound design, and no cheap jump scares. The creature design, although it only briefly appears, and the story surrounding it deserve a separate mention. It's disturbing and dreadful. If you're into offbeat horror with a sinister mystery, this one is worth to keep on your radar. Holstin is a survival horror game set in 1990s Poland. You play as Tomasz, searching for your missing friend Bartek in a small town overtaken by a grotesque biomass known as Plasmodium, twisting the townsfolk with bizarre, flashy mutations. The game uses a rotating isometric perspective for movement and exploration, with 8 dynamic camera angles. Combat has a clever twist wall, aiming shifts to a tight over-the-shoulder view, adding tension and precision. Enemies are surprisingly durable twisted mutants hardened with cancerous growths, but with distinct weak points you'll need to exploit to survive. Visually it blends retro style with richly atmospheric environments and dynamic lighting. Holstin mixes Silent Hill style dread with classic Resident Evil survival in a uniquely Eastern European twist. One of the most unusual and atmospheric horror games on the horizon. O3 Hollow Descent is a surreal bullet hell roguelike with grotesque Giger-inspired visuals and suffocating atmosphere. You play as a lone astronaut stranded on a hostile, ever-shifting alien world, fighting through twisted rooms, dodging traps and tearing down biomechanical horrors. Combat is fast and chaotic with a varied arsenal of weapons and upgrades to experiment with. Each enemy type has its own attack pattern, forcing you to stay alert and adapt on the fly. The demo also features a mini-boss and a level boss battle, offering a solid glimpse of the challenges ahead. It's not traditional horror, but the aesthetic is pure nightmare fuel, perfect for fans of dark sci-fi and otherworldly dread. Darkbound may look cute, but don't let that fool you. It's an unsettling survival horror where you play as a kitten trapped in a hospital where something's gone very, very wrong. You wake up alone in your patient's bed, the power is failing, and staying in the dark hurts you, and slowly transforms into something creepy. There are creatures crawling through the halls, and your only hope is to stay in the light, or rely on matches that burn out fast. To progress, you'll solve puzzles and help other survivors as you uncover this unsettling mystery. It's a short demo, but it gives a clear sense of mechanics, the premise, and the eerie tone wrapped in a cute art style. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. No, I'm Not a Human is a paranoid identity horror game set during an apocalypse, where the sun is burning the world alive and the only safety lies in the dark. At night, strangers knock on your door, begging to come in. Some are kind, some are strange, some feel seriously off, and some of them aren't even human, and it's your job to decide who makes it inside. Each day you interrogate your guests, study behavior and look for clues. If you think someone is a visitor, a mimic creature that crawled up from beneath the earth bearing a human face, you do what needs to be done. The game takes place entirely inside your home, a crumbling, dimly lit space with strong Eastern European vibes. Ancient TV, peeling wallpaper, old furniture, and roaches in a fridge deliver the atmosphere perfectly. The art style is haunting, the writing is eerie, and the entire experience feels like a fever dream you can't escape. No, I'm Not a Human is smart, creepy, and deeply unsettling. One of the most original identity horror concepts I've seen in a while. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed my dark picks. A like and subscribe is always appreciated, especially if you made it this far. And be sure to keep an eye on the channel, more weird and interesting reviews are on the way. Cheers, and take care out there!